This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, coral-auctions.co.uk and reef.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Reef Dork Prestige. What do we call this? A Prestige Dork Reef show or something like that. It's been a while, Ryan, hasn't it?
It has been a while. You've decided to turn up today, have you?
Yeah,
I was sitting here patiently last week, like all ready to go, and then I was like, "Where's Alex?
What's going on?" I know. I made it last minute I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. I decided to go to France and Germany for the weekend.
As you do.
Just dropped. I've been planning this, been talking about doing this to myself anyway for 2 years. Went on the bike, and I just finally thought, if I don't do this now, it's never going to happen. So, yes. And then the week before that, we had the Norwegian bloke, Viking Reef, Norwegian, Swedish. We had him on, and so it's been a while. I think it was middle of June last time we did a proper Prestige Reef Talk show.
Yeah.
And the good news is. No, I don't know. Well, so the good news is because it's quiet this time of year anyway, the hobby. And normally we'll talk about what we've been up to in the last week, but now we can talk about what we've been up to in the last month. And I don't know about you, but what I've been up to in the last month is roughly equivalent to half of what I normally get up to in a week. So, same story, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to work out what you'd said. What you have done the equivalent for in the last month is what you would normally do in half a week.
Yeah,
so you've not done a lot, is what you're saying.
Basically, but so obviously it's actually, first thing I should say, I've started a poll which was at Ryan's request. Have you bought a fish or coral in the last 2 weeks? Yes or no? Because obviously it's quiet this time of year. Shops are quiet and all that sort of stuff. And I think you were just wondering what people are doing.
No, well, first I wanted to write down all the names of all the people who've been buying corals that weren't from me. So that's the main reason I wanted to do the poll. Now, I was actually thinking that if you are a coral or fish only shop, it must be a real struggle at the moment, like genuinely. And I don't know if that's true. I could be completely wrong, but it's not about people. There's a different level at the moment. Normally people go, oh, it's summer, we're going away, or there's other things to spend your money on, we want to be outside. That's one thing. And the next thing is, I don't want to buy something because it might die when my tank hits 30 degrees. So I think that has added an extra level of hesitancy for people.
So there's would I say no to that? I would say no to that. And there's a website, Jason's Aquatics. There's a few corals I want to buy. But I'm not doing it whilst it's hot. Do it. Just don't make any sense.
And I have orders that are waiting to go out because you have to be careful about when you send them. So I don't think it's just the shops. If you see what I think the online sellers like Jason Aquatics potentially would be quieter too. Now,
so in the States they do what's it called? They have ice packs and that sort of thing. Do you not really do that?
I've never, not once in all the time I've been doing this, ever shipped a coral with an ice pack. Never.
Yeah, okay.
I'd rather, because it never gets that hot for this long usually. And as long as it's sort of like above 16 at night and below 28 degrees, I'm pretty happy just to do it.
At the moment, the good thing actually is that it's still 30 degrees most days, but it gets cool overnight. Whereas a few weeks ago, it wasn't getting cool overnight.
Yeah.
So you'd have that double problem of you're cooling them too much potentially.
Yeah, that is true. It's just the other thing that I have a coral that needs to go out that's like 200 pounds or just under 200 pounds. And I'm like, I'm not sending this at the moment, because if you're sending out a few frags of Montipora, it's one thing. If you're sending something out that's cost you plenty of money, that the customer's going to go, this didn't survive, and I have to just swallow the cost. I'd rather not ship it. So,
I would guess customers generally are good with that, because I wouldn't want a coral to be posted, or is it a mixed bag?
No, I would say generally. So most of the time it's fine. Occasionally people will go, "Oh, I was expecting it to be here tomorrow," and I'm like, "It's 34 degrees tomorrow." And the other thing is there's like a slight. How do I put this? There's a every time you ship a coral, it's a gamble, because although it might be 28 degrees, like if the van of the postman is like 35 degrees in the back, but you usually don't get hit peak temperature until later in the day. So there's just, so far I haven't had any deaths as far as I know. No one's told me that any of the corals have died. So it's been fine, and I've been doing this for years and years. It's just like, sometimes people will go, "Oh, I'll have the money back then," which is fine. But you have to be a little bit understanding, not with just me, but with any online seller at the moment. Like, they know what they're doing, and they don't want to risk shipping if it's not the right time.
No, indeed. It's tough. But I don't know what. So I went into Reef Keeper this weekend for the first time in a few weeks, and it was semi-busy, I would describe it as, but not. I mean, I was in there for all of 10 minutes, so who knows? But
was it the marine section that was semi-busy?
That their advantage is they've got pond and tropical, and pond this time of year goes crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I think. And I can't remember who it was, but there was another like coral only shop that closed, didn't they, this week?
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
It was either this week or last week. I sent you a text message about it, but I can't remember saying. Obviously, I don't know if you knew about these people, but I can't remember where they were. But you're gonna look now to try and find it.
Scrolling through it now, yeah.
We talk too much, but basically, yes. Unfortunately, somewhere in the UK, we've lost another shop.
Yeah, there's a lot of rubbish on this WhatsApp.
Yeah, most of it's from Alex, to be fair.
But yeah, so no, that's perhaps not surprised. Anybody who's setting up a new shop, I don't understand why more people don't set up with at least some fresh water, because even if you don't know it and you've only been doing saltwater, learn it. Because all the shops, any of the successful shops that you speak to, say freshwater makes the money. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So
out of the blue, there you go. They just said closed last week.
That was it. You said, yeah. I didn't know that, but were they Love Aqua a couple of years ago?
They don't know. For some reason, the entire floor plan of Aqua just isn't in the front of my memory.
No, but there was a place that was opposite you. I'm sure it was Blue something. Anyway.
Oh, that's Deep Blue Marine. I think we're opposite.
Deep Blue Marine, right?
Yeah, okay. They were opposite both years.
Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what Out of the Blue were like. I couldn't even tell you the first thing about them, to be honest. But
what I will say is, if anyone's thinking about having a shop, and obviously I don't have a shop myself, you make the majority of your money when it's quiet. So the fact it's quiet for me now is okay, because you prepare in advance. You go, I'm not going to spend all of my money because you know that there are lean times coming. And then obviously when you're when it goes into the winter and it goes crazy and people want corals every single day, then you store some of that money up. So it's about managing how your funds to make sure that you can get through the tougher times. And maybe that's, I don't know how long some of the shops have been open, but some of the shops that have been around for a long time seem to stick around for a long time.
Yeah, although, so Out of the Blue looks like it might have been around for a while. It's got 208 reviews on Google, which is quite a lot. And I'm looking back 5 years ago. Some of the reviews are 5 years ago and more. So it looks like that was.
So it's been a long time.
But I went to, this is in Manchester, a place called Failsworth. 7 years is the oldest one. I went there recently. I don't think anybody mentioned Out of the Blue. I don't recall anyone, because everywhere I went, I said, where should I be going? What shops? And everyone said the same: Kraken, Finest, all that lot. No one said Out of the Blue, so I hadn't even heard of them.
There you go. Well, there you go. It's so I will say this as a public service announcement. If you need things at the moment that maybe are not fish and coral because you're concerned, go buy them from your fish shop, because they need it. Definitely. So now more than ever. So yeah. And I genuinely mean that. I genuinely I think that I know people have, for a long time, people are going, oh, you should support your local fish shop, but it's just convenient to buy stuff. Like, they are dropping at the moment pretty regularly. So now, especially through this hot period, because they still have to pay their staff, and that's the problem. So it's not like you can go, oh, it's quieter, so you can just get rid of your staff if you're like brutal. Like, I'm not going to say like me, but I don't have any stuff. But what I'm saying is, you understand. Like, if people are brutal, they go, oh, look, there's not enough work, so you just get rid of you. The problem is you cannot hire people for the marine hobby very easily.
No,
and there are shops that are in the local area that were well known for being like the best marine shop in the area, and then the person who ran the marines left, and now slowly but surely it just degraded over time, worse and worse. And I'd say probably 6 years later now, they don't even have marines anymore, and it was absolutely the best shop in the area. So having the right person to do it makes a massive difference. So that's why you have to look after your staff.
Yeah, indeed. So there you go. Look after staff, buy stuff.
What I'm saying is that people shops are in sort of between a rock and a hard place, because you can't reduce your staffing levels during this time because you won't get them back.
Yeah, so they'll go and earn more money working on the tills at Tesco or something.
Well, one of the people who owned one of the fish shops for years and years, where eventually, when I'm not doing this anymore, I went to go sell cars. So he's probably making more money.
A lot more, yeah, absolutely.
And he was one of the owners.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. You know how the Maidenheads are all like split between multiple people?
See. Yeah. Right, yeah, okay.
So he just went, not for me anymore.
Well, this is a very cheery start, Ryan. Have you got anything?
I just think it's important that people know. I know you're going to say I'm depressing. I think it's important that people know.
There you go. People know. Tell me something good.
Tell you something good. Oh, what, for me? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I haven't been working on the fish side of things as much as I probably should, is the honest answer. Obviously, people will know that obviously I've been working on a video game, and there was the Kickstarter, and that's ended. It got funded, and now it's like full on, absolutely full on, all day, every day. So,
Bornhaven.
Yeah, it's so the fun thing is that now we are like creating all of the fish and things like that. So like I have learned so much about fish in the last sort of 2 weeks. Fish I've never seen, and some of these I'm not going to tell you what they are because I'm going to keep them for like fish of the weeks. And there is one for fish of the week this week. But when you start looking at,
that's where it came from.
That's where it came from. So I was looking at like rare and unusual fish. And I just thought these would make great fish of the weeks. There's like blennies and angelfish. There's angelfish where there's like one picture of them online, and it's not like it's related to many. It's in the same genus as many of the other angelfish, but I've never seen it before, and so it's quite a lot of fun for me at the moment doing this, and obviously turning everything into Pixar. It's just full on. So I have to admit that I have not been pushing the coral side as much as I used to, which I probably should. The only thing that's going on with the farm, which obviously I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and Alex told me last time it wasn't exciting, was that the farm is still leaking and I cannot solve it. I have spent every day the last week, probably for at least 1 to 2 hours in the farm trying to solve a leak, and I cannot. I'm going to put a ransom out there now for someone to come and try and find it for me, just because, like, the problem is it literally is damaging the wall now, where the birds are starting to, because they eat the salt, they are pecking their way and just destroying the brickwork.
Put a little bowl of salt next to the wall, actually.
See, I actually don't know if it's salt. Apparently, because this is a pretty common issue, is grit is what they're eating. So someone's online suggested you put like some sand out or something, because it's easier.
Because it grinds their beaks or whatever.
No, I think it's because they eat it, because it like grinds food up for inside them. Because they don't have. I think that's what it is. But we're now on like talking about birds, aren't we?
Well, the other option there is if you don't want to put a bowl of sand next to your wall, just get a little BB gun and then out your window, window when they come out and just.
They're all bringing their mates. There's hundreds of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
It gets worse and worse every day. But that's the problem is there's like 200 meters of pipe work in that farm. It's ridiculous. Like I did work out, it might not be 200, but it might be like maybe it's just under that. But there is a lot of pipe work. There is hundreds of joints and everything. Yeah. And if one of them is close to the floor and leaking, because it has like a false floor, so it will leak through the floor and there'll be no puddle. So this has become it's become like an obsession for me, weirdly.
Have you seen Better Call Saul?
No, are you sure? Is it? I haven't. But are you thinking about what's the other one? The Breaking Bad.
There's a guy in that who goes a bit crazy, and he thinks he has an allergy to electricity. So he turns all the electricity off in his house, but there's still something on, and he's like ripping out the walls trying to get this like a light switch or whatever.
That's exactly what it's like. The coral farm has been basically turned upside down, and systematically because the problem is I have found a ton of leaks, not one leak. I have found probably 12 of them. I assume that what's happened is that over a period of time, because it's been 6 years now, I think 5-6 years now, that the sealant, the solvent world, just becomes no good anymore. I assume, or some of it's on the. Oh, why did you zoom in?
Because your picture is frozen for me.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's frozen for me too.
Okay, I can still hear you, so just carry on.
I've been frozen in a good position. I'm like, look how happy I look.
Anyway.
What was I saying? So I don't know if solvent world. I know the O-rings obviously go after a period of time, but some of it's literally. Yeah, right. I'm frozen for everyone. I can come back if you want. Can we do that?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'll just click reset.
Oh, he's going to disappear. Right. Well, whilst he's gone, I'm going to tell you. Oh, I'll wait because I want to get Ryan's reaction because he's going to take the piss out of me, and he will be back in a sec. Anybody been watching the football? There'll be like 90% of people won't care about the football at all. And he's back and he's fixed.
Oh, that's good. So, what was I saying? I was talking about that boring leak, wasn't I?
Solvent.
Oh no, yeah. So there is. I didn't realize this. There is loads of leaks in there, but what's happening is the pipe is leaking out the pipework into the tank, so you don't notice them. Are you celebrating the football?
I'm doing that. It's coming home dance. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, I see. Yes, I actually watched it. It was last night. Yeah, it was last night.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was against my will, but I watched it. So,
solvent world.
Yes. So I don't know if it just fails after a period of time, because it's too weird that it's happening in lots and lots of places. But slowly but surely, I'm fixing them one at a time. The only other bit of information that I found interesting, and we will cover more of this next week, but I think this shocked you when I told you, and is I've been doing some research into like corals in the wild for the game as well. Mm-hmm. And we actually have a scientist coming on next week who works with Jamie Craggs.
Next weekend is the World Cup final, so there'll be no Prestige Reef Talk Show.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, so it's been. Oh,
I did message you. I did say that.
Did you? Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, okay.
He never listens to me. God.
I don't. That's because most of your messages are nonsense. So.
Anyway, whenever we'll have a scientist coming on soon, right?
Yes, the weather scientist coming on soon. The thing I found interesting was I asked. I was looking into the temperature of the ocean, and it shocked me and you. So what temperature do you think the ocean? I know you know. Why are you? She hasn't noticed.
I'm talking to someone else. I would have thought it was like. Well, I mean, I've done diving, and I've been in temperatures when it was 28 degrees. Diving in 28 degrees is hard, by the way. Yeah. You really feel it. I would have thought our tank temperature is 25, 26 degrees.
Yeah. So that's what you think it is, but it is like 28, 29 degrees.
Yeah. Well, is that all the time everywhere? Or well, obviously
that's the problem that they are having now with global warming, where it's got to that temperature and stays at that temperature for a period of time, and then and obviously it might be able to handle one day at that temperature, but over the course of 2 weeks, it's not like the entire year, but 2 weeks where it's 29 degrees, that's what's killing the coral. So, and I was shocked because I, like you, always thought the sea temperature was like 25, 26 degrees. So, yeah,
but we're going to get her on when England have won the World Cup, and we'll talk about all sorts. She's got some really interesting stuff. Actually, she was like a Jamie Craig's, I don't know if protege is the word, but she worked under Jamie Craig's or something like that, right?
Yes, I think she still does to some extent. But I think he does some more actual in the field work now. I think he works for Mars, which is something to do with growing coral, rebuilding reefs.
Bet they've got some kind of charity, aren't we good, corporate responsibility program or something. Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, as I said, when it's quiet, I don't have a lot to tell you because I have not been to the wholesaler probably for 4 weeks now. I think maybe 5. So
you were saying that shops need support. Do you think wholesalers need support?
Of course, yeah. But if people aren't buying, then you can't get. I'm telling you, I think about this quite a lot in terms of there has to be this knock-on effect all the way down the line.
Yeah.
So, doom and gloom.
There we go.
So, Alex, tell me what you have done in the last 2 weeks.
So my tank's actually looking really good. Do you know what? Because my parameters have been all over the place for quite a while now, I'm going to read them out to you because I'm for the first time. Oh no, actually, I was about to say they're almost spot on, and then I remembered one thing.
Okay.
Nitrate 43.4. That's high, but I don't really care. That's fine. My average nitrate over the last 2 years has been 16, but it's been north of 20 or 30 for a long time. Anyway, nitrate 40 roughly. That's not too bad. Phosphate 0.12. It's actually borderline all right. My phosphate again average 0.25.
Makes a change.
Exactly. I'm going to skip past salinity. We'll come back onto that. Alkalinity 8.9.
Okay, can we go back to salinity for a second?
No, because we're going to celebrate it. Alkalinity 8 points. So phosphate is great. Alkalinity is great. Calcium 450. Tiny bit high, but that's, for me, that's brilliant. Magnesium 1350. Yeah. So my tank is perfect and all my parameters are spot on.
Salinity 30.
Oh, salinity. Yeah, you remembered that. 37 parts per thousand. So not terrible, but that's annoying. And I've just been taking out water and letting it be replaced by.
And you're lowering all of your other. You're taking water out and you're lowering all of your other parameters. So they're not right.
When you do the sums on that, though, it doesn't make a huge difference.
Okay.
But still, that's annoying. But apart from that, for the first time in ages, more or less everything was almost spot on. And then bloody salinity, the only thing that matters. Anyway, but the tank's looking good generally. Temperature-wise, it's been fine. There was a couple of weeks ago, it did get a bit hot because it was staying warm overnight. But lately, it gets cold overnight, so it doesn't really fluctuate. It doesn't get above, I don't know, 20, high 25s. It doesn't get above 26, for sure, which is great.
Have you only got one tank at the moment?
Yeah, so I'll come on to that in just a second. But one problem I have got is I've got a lot of aptasia at the moment. Okay. And I do know someone who can get me a copper band, but he's being a right dick about it at the moment. So
I offered you a copper band the other day.
I was getting away. What use is that to me?
Look, when they come along, you got to snatch him up straight away.
But yes, I've got a bit of an aptasia outbreak. It's fine. It doesn't really matter, but it's annoying. And there's enough of it that it's like I want to get rid of it now. So there is that.
But that's been something that you've been consistently. It's just a cycle, isn't it? Like you get rid of it all, and then it all comes back, and then you get rid of it all, and then it all comes back.
My buggy and nudie pranks, they did a sterling job, and then they died because there was nothing left, and turns out there was a little bit left because of course it was, and then it came back. I got my Australian stripey, smashed it all out of the park. I moved him on, and it started coming back. And this is basically, I think this is my life now. So
I'm telling you, if you have a copper band and it lives long term, like it will never become a problem ever again. You know this.
I've got the right kind of food now.
Yeah.
So hopefully that would help him stay clear of my corals, because that's my concern with him. But I would
be surprised.
I would probably double my feeding, because I currently do 2 cubes of frozen a day plus a load of pellets. I would probably do 4 cubes of frozen a day, because just to keep him happy. On the subject of pellets, I feed Hikari seaweed extreme pellets because it's nori, and it's basically nori, and I can't be asked with nori. It's too much effort, right? But the other day I run out and I ordered a load before I went away, and when I got back it still hadn't arrived, and it turned out it was out of stock. So I went back online, and so I ran out like 2 weeks ago now, and I went back online, and I was thinking, hang on, do I normally buy the small pellets or the medium-sized pellets?
Yeah.
And it turns out I thought I bought a mix of both of them, but it turns out it's the small ones. So this is the packet that the small one comes in.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd buy the medium ones as well, just in case. This is the packet the medium one comes in.
But are they the medium ones still balls, or are they crisps?
They are the exact same, like tiny wafers. They're just they're more or less the same shape, but they're not big. And they're probably okay for most fish, but like I'm a rabbit fish, will eat them no problem. But some of the smaller ones, you like choking on them a bit. But I've got 4 packs of Hikari seaweed pellets now. So, and I tried to order in bulk to do, because if you're paying postage, and my Reef Keeper does sell them sometimes, but not so. Get them online, but yeah. So the main thing really is you asked if I've only got 1 tank now. So I shut down my TMC First Wave 78 probably 3 weeks ago now, and that was always the plan was always to do that. I didn't want to run it long term at all. I just got it because I wanted to make videos about it, because it'll be good for beginners. So I didn't even want it to be running as long as it was in the end. But the reason I was happy keeping it, because I had those 2 fish in there that I was keeping, that I was going to put in the UNS when I set that up. To come, but the boxfish died, and it was one of 2 things. It got the week that it died, it got up to 27 degrees, that tank. I had the lights off, and I did what I was putting bottles of frozen water in there, which was really effective, to be fair. But it still did get quite high. It might have even got a bit high, like 27.5 or something maybe. So it might have been that. But also, when I went away to Canada for a week and a half, like last month now, when I went away, I gave my dad instructions on what. And if you're watching or listening, Dad, I'm not blaming you.
That's not what you said to me. You sent me a text message saying my dad has done this.
He's lying. Well, so I gave him instructions on how much to feed, and then when after I got back, he came up again a few days later, I think, and we had a chat, and he's like, "Oh, actually, one thing, the instructions you gave me on feeding the fish, there were only 2 in the small tank, and there were loads of fish in the big tank. So I thought the fish in the big tank needed more, so I started giving them more, and the other fish less. And it's like, the other fish get pellets as well, and it's really important that the boxfish gets as much food as possible." So and he died a few days after that, basically within a week of me getting back. So it might be that he wasn't getting enough food. It might just be that it's a boxfish, and that's just what happens.
Sometimes they could be finicky.
I'd had him 5 months maybe. So
what was the other fish in the tank again with him?
The Toby Puffer.
And is it still alive?
He is, well, I don't have him. He was alive. He was alive for a couple of weeks, but then I took him back to Reef Keeper Moss End.
Yeah,
he was happy as Larry. But it could be, to be fair, that I was underfeeding him the whole time, and that he just, because you can't tell if they're thin, can you? So he withered away over time. It could be that, but I don't know.
What I'm saying is, you now have had first-hand experience where a boxfish has died in a small tank. I know it was a small boxfish, and it hasn't killed all of the other fish. I know there was only one other fish, but it's true, isn't it?
Yeah. So I fished it out. It was just still. I fished it out and put it in a jug next to me in case I was. It was just resting or whatever. But it was deceased. So I must have caught it soon after it died. But nonetheless, no, it did not nuke the tank. Was it Viking who was saying that he had one that did nuke the tank? Someone we spoke to recently did.
Don't think it was Viking.
Okay.
I don't remember him mentioning it. Since having him on, though, I am like well tempted for an. You're like, where is this going? What do you think I'm well tempted by?
You're not really into Addis butterflies. Yeah, you're butterflies. Yeah,
okay. I'm tempted. Like, just because I just think they're probably not that much worse than all the other fish I've got. It's not going to be worse than the Moorish Idol, which I've still got. So
how's he doing with corals? The Moorish.
He's fine. He's genuinely he's not fine. He's fine with the ones that are in there now, and I just haven't added any extras. So basically, I can have an entire tank full of gorgonians.
Well, this was your plan all along, there, wasn't it? To if you put a coral in and it gets eaten, you take it out.
Yeah. So I sort of have gone through a stage where I'm like, do I just keep him now because he's like a troublesome fish but he's like part of the family, and you just accept him for who he is. And if you think about it, the reason I've sort of come round to that idea, I've not added any new coral to that tank for weeks. So he's like a model citizen at the moment because he's not eating anything else. But as soon as I add something, he'll be like, "Yep, that's," and I'll be like, "Right, you've got to go." Yeah. So, but I think that I am tempted by an Addis butterfly, and I think that it's lucky that I've not been to the wholesaler, just because I probably would have left one because I know Rachel wants one as well.
I would never be brave enough, I don't think, to have one, but that is a proper dream territory fish. Yeah, have you got 2 mugs? I've just seen you've got a different mug. You always have 2.
I always have 2 different mugs. How have you not noticed this?
You've told me before. When I said it, I realised. Yeah. But yeah, I just suddenly. Anyway, yeah,
they're quite different today. Normally I have 2 different coral ones, but I've got
that's why I noticed.
Tropic Marin one, which is just blue, and obviously the Duncan one.
But the reef dork butterfly reef dorkii is just they're cool AF. I'm sure I've seen a couple recently that are, because normally you see them, they're quite big. I saw a couple that were relatively small. They weren't small like a small regal tang or whatever, but they weren't massive, and they're so cool.
I've seen pretty. No, I'm not getting a pair. One's why are you encouraging me to do stupid things? Part of me also doesn't want the hassle of as I said, I've got a lot on at the moment. So do I want to add a fish that all the other fish don't like potentially? And what happens if there's disease, or what happens if they all fight each other or it just doesn't eat? I'm just like, do I actually want to add a new fish? So, because I've got a flame angel that's in the coral farm that I'm thinking about adding as well. It's been quarantined for probably 6 weeks now.
Oh, that one. I would have. Do you know what? So you put that out on the WhatsApp group. That it's not quarantined, but it's kind of that sort of thing, isn't it? And I thought someone would snap your arm off for that.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, they're expensive, and people remember them when they were cheap. So
how much are they?
They're like $220 now, I think, or something like that. I can't. Yeah. So around about that, something around about that much. But yeah, they're not.
180 to 200 at Abyss. Bloody hell.
There you go.
They're cool though.
And look, don't get me wrong. It's funny because they were a fish that almost everyone wanted, and all of a sudden they're not that popular anymore. Because I think if they were always that price, it probably would have been a. If they, you know how Achilles tangs, people still want them even though they're getting more and more expensive. But when you had a fish that was £60, that's now 200 and something pounds, it's doesn't feel the same.
Although I bet the market for Achilles tangs is small. So I would rather buy a fish than pay my mortgage, as you well know. But I still would struggle to hand over 500 quid for an Achilles tang.
500? I think they're more than that. I don't know because I've not sold one for a long time, but I'm pretty sure they might end up being more than that.
Abyss again, 500 to 900. Wow.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. So I sold one which was massive. It was like a full adult size. This is one of the biggest tanks I've ever seen. It was like this, and it genuinely was like that. And that was more than 500. That was quite a lot.
The like this was that for the benefit of the people on the podcast. What was that? 18 feet.
Yeah, it was a full adult size one. So.
Also, actually, just for people listening on the podcast, because it's so hot today, Ryan is doing it stark bollock naked today. So just don't turn the video on, whatever you do.
Oh, at Alex's request. He said, I got a weird request for you. I've always wanted you to do this. And I was like, well, see?
Since you asked, Anyway, so big Achilles tang. Yeah, so the flame angel you were saying.
Yeah. So I've been partly tempted. So I originally bought that actually I bought one before for myself, and then I put it into the tank, and then someone comes and wants to buy it, so it starts to be doing something stupid, and then I replaced it. So I got this one, and I'm thinking about putting it in the tank again. But the problem is, angels, I would say, dwarf angels are one of the worst fish to mix. Like, if people go, do I want to mix a tang? Yeah, by all means, go for it. If you want to mix large angels, they're mostly fine. Like, go for it. Dwarf angels are just like awful towards each other, and they don't. It's not like they calm down after a couple of days. They can be like relentless for weeks.
Yeah.
So So I have a few dwarf angels. I don't have. The only centropyge that I have, which is obviously the same species as a flame angel, is the golden angel, and they're quite different. A golden angel is more similar to a coral beauty than it is to a flame angel. So would they be okay? It's also very secretive, whereas the flame will be like swimming around. Possibly. I have the multibar, which is a paracentropyge, so that's like a large centropyge. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. Someone call it Pyg. So I'm tempted to add it, but I just think what will happen is I'll put it in and there'll be chaos, and then I'll have to take everything apart, and I just don't want the stress, is the honest answer. So some come by it.
Yeah. You just got me thinking, what does para mean in that context? And I think it's derived from Greek and Italian roots meaning alongside. So simply paracentropyge means it's a group that's alongside, because I wonder if it meant slightly like big or small or group or something. Okay, so it doesn't really mean it. Doesn't tell you anything. But yeah, so he might be going in your tank. Might be.
Look, this is what will happen. At some point, I will have a lower level of resistance with regards to doing sensible things, and then my impulse will take over, and I will just go, okay, today's the day you're going to go into the tank, and I'll put it into the acclamation box, and then once it's in the acclamation box, it's like 90% of the way there, isn't it? So it will probably end up going in. But Rachel said to me, because I was told her I was going to do it, and she went, and you don't need any more stress at the moment. You need to just relax and don't give yourself another headache. And then the next day she was out, and I was like,
exactly, yeah.
And I was like, I was sitting there like this. The only thing that has stopped me from doing it is I need to clean the acclamation box, just because it's just sitting in the garden, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like pollen will have got onto it, and so all I need to do is rinse it off and then put it in the tank, and that's the only thing that stopped me from doing it. So that one minor detail.
But that is enough to stop you, so
that's enough to stop me for now. But at some point, I will, as I said, I will have a lower tolerance for my own resistance.
Funny. I would like one. I'd just be scared that it would nibble on my little soft bits, basically.
Okay. I think in your tank, maybe, yeah. I think you're higher risk than other people.
We got a lot of fleshy bits on display, so
yeah. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. It's as I said, for me, it is worth the risk, because I don't care so much about coral. It's more about is it right for the fish? Like, what I could always do is I could put it in the acclamation box for literally like 2 weeks and just see if things are calm. Yeah. And I don't have to release it, do I? I can just put it back.
Worst case scenario, you can catch him.
They're not easy to catch.
Go pear-shaped pretty quickly with dwarfs.
Oh, it will be instant. As in, it will be like absolutely instant. The problem, I think that the risk might be the multibar more than the golden angel. At the moment, my hawkfish is being like an absolute bastard. Like, he's terrible. Like with regards to chasing other things randomly.
Scarlet fish, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah. Someone just said, I feel like Ryan needs to add more rocks to the water box at this point, since he's not doing a ton of coral. That is true. That's a fair point. I always was planning to put a load of coral in there. You have to,
like Monty's or something, branching SPS corals.
You have to take things more seriously. Like, you have to, like, it's true. It's genuinely the truth.
No, I know. Yeah.
Like, if you put Monty's in there and things like that, and I know, like, I've got tons of them, but when you start doing that, I don't like failing, and I'm not failing at the moment because things aren't dying. It's just like neutral. Whereas you have to take things far more seriously if I start like putting loads and loads of coral in, and then you have to keep an eye on the parameters. With a fish only tank that's got there's a couple of Bacillopora, and the biggest coral is a Gorgonian, which obviously doesn't do anything to the elements. Like, I don't do water changes or anything for weeks, and then I'll do one massive water change, and I'll do like 600 liters.
Toadstools and stuff.
They will get eaten by the angels. Yeah, okay. That's the problem, and the Moorish idol. Otherwise, I would consider it. Do you know what I want, Alex? I want you to go, I'm going to come sort that tank for you, right? What you do, the day before, do a massive 600-litre water change, and I'm going to come to the coral farm, and I'm going to make it all look all nice for you. That's what I need.
That's not going to happen.
No.
So
I know. Any other takers?
Yeah, would you be careful what you wish for there, though?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on because we need to do the. There might be quite a lot to talk about with the headline topic, and we've got to do member questions.
Oh yes, I don't even know. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So the first member question is one from last time that was it was posted halfway through and I missed it. So this is from Malman, who says, "Sorry, this question is so late. I always thought polyp color was linked to nutrient levels, but I glued a bit that snapped. Oh right, it snapped higher in my tank, and it now has completely different color to polyps to the mother frag. Does light also affect polyp color? I presume this is an SPS coral of some kind, but yeah." All various things affect color. Flow affects color. Probably
light and nutrients definitely are the two big ones.
Yeah.
Nutrients is because the coral produces too much zooxanthellae, the algae, and that shades out the coral's natural color. So, and light is a similar thing, but just the opposite.
Yeah. So there you go. Yes, it does.
There you go.
Next one is from Stephen Evans, who says, "Hey both, what do you think are the hardiest LPS corals?" I think you're going to say hammer, but you're wrong.
Probably. I actually wasn't going to say hammer. I was probably going to say Duncan's. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say Duncan's.
I'm laughing because that's what I was going to say. I was thinking Duncan's and trumpet corals, probably the hardest.
Yeah. I'd say that. I'd agree with you.
You could probably throw half a dozen in that category, but Duncan's are pretty solid. And the good things with Duncan's is like if you've got a torch or a gunny and the water is off, they'll just die. Whereas a Duncan will shrivel up and be like, so it tells you it's not happy, and then it can recover. So
I just think they don't seem to have the same issues as I don't think hammers are particularly difficult, but they do come with certain issues which makes them more complicated than a Duncan's.
Funnily, the hardiest corals in my tank are some things like the trumpet coral puts up with anything basically, but the hardiest corals of all are the one on the middle island, which is the island I had in my water box tank probably 4 or 5 years ago, and there's chalices on there, there's gonnies, anything that's been on there for years is solid as a rock. It's just totally fine. Actually, weirdly, I've got an acro on that's doing really well as well, despite the fact that it should not support acros properly. Anyway, off-grid reefer. Not really a question, but more a news suggestion. There's an upcoming build-your-own zoo game called Planet Zoo 2. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Gaming.
I have played the first one, but only for like an hour. So, but it's very popular.
It's now added fully customizable aquariums to the game. There are even several confirmed species that are found in the hobby: yellow tang, hippo tang, black spotted puffer, longfin batfish, bannerfish, to name a few, along with sharks and rays and whatnot. You can check it out on the trailer they've just released. As a game and a reefer, this is really exciting news. This, along with Ryan's upcoming game, Tideborne Haven, I think is actually a pretty big deal for the hobby, as this hasn't been well represented in the video game medium.
I wonder if it will have an impact on the hobby where some people, not loads, but some people will transfer over from one to the other. I don't know if it will. Like the Finding Nemo effect.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
I said I have no idea if it will or won't. is I think 54,000 people have signed up now to for the release of the game. Not signed up to but they're saying that we're interested when it's released. So some of those people might get a fish tank.
I feel like Finding Nemo is what orders of magnitude more likely to have an impact on that sort of thing, because it's about clownfish and you can keep clownfish, whereas a game that's about batfish and all sorts of other stuff, it might be a cool game, but it's not going to get you in. Whereas if there's a massive film about clownfish, just about clownfish.
Well, I think what actually happened was it was a children's film about clownfish, and then parents were like, Daddy, I can get one of these for my kids to keep them happy for 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably what happened, but who knows?
You've got iPads for that now, so
yeah, that's true. Clownfish will replaced by iPads.
Yeah, exactly. But there you go. All right, well, we're going to move on. Oh, actually, have you got a fish of the week and a coral of the week? You have, I think.
Yeah, but we do that at the end. Don't we?
Headline topic, you're quite right. Right, in that case. The headline topic is, what have I called this? The Great Saltwater Debate, Ranking Controversial Reef Tank Myths. The Prestige Reef Talk Show episode.
Did you purposely not tell me what these were?
To
get my reaction, because I don't know what you're going to talk about.
I didn't tell you what they are because you're a busy man these days, Ryan, and I don't want to burden you with trivial nonsense like Prestige Reef Talk Show homework, basically. So
okay.
But I've got
10,
yeah, I've got 10 myths. I don't know if they're myths. They're 10 talking points. And what we're going to do is we'll thrash it out and then we'll put it to the chat, and the chat can have the final say.
Okay.
So the first is a statement: water changes fix everything. Discuss.
I would say that as a general rule, that it doesn't fix everything, but it's a good place to start. But if you've got a magnet which is leaking or rusting, a wall change is not going to fix that permanently. So that is so I'm going to say no, it doesn't fix everything.
Well, it won't fix it permanently, but a big enough water change will sort that out, at least short term.
Temporarily. Yeah, true.
So I think if you apply that literally, which people might, I've put it in the chat, if you apply that literally, the answer is no, because water change don't fix everything. They don't fix world poverty, for example. But water changes fix everything as just a general kind of philosophy. I think I agree with that. The strongest now, because it's generally, if there's something going wrong in your tank and you do a big enough water change, it's probably going to sort it out. It might not. You might then need to go and work out what the underlying issue is. But it's a really good. It's better than papering over the cracks. They are a really good solving problem.
You might want to test your source water as well, to make sure that's good as I know that as a general. Actually, I just remember something which I should have remembered, but I didn't tell you in my week in reefing. So at one point while I was fixing the leak, just very quickly, because this is actually relevant to water changes, kind of, I turned the whole system off, and I never turn the whole system. Even when I do the water changes, it just keeps running permanently. And because I turned it off, the sensor for the heater is sensing a different area of the tank, and the heaters are in the bit at the top. So, and I left it, obviously, because I was doing silicon and stuff like that, I left it off for 4 hours. And when I came back, I was like, oh my God, just remember I didn't turn the heaters off. I tested the water, it was 50 degrees. 50 degrees.
Wow.
Not the tank water, the water in that one compartment.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, I think it's got probably 60, 70 liters, and there was 50 degrees. And I was like, so I thought to myself, this is going to kill everything in that compartment. Nothing else was touching it. So it didn't affect the corals, nothing. This was weeks ago. But what I immediately did was drain that whole thing down and scrape off all the algae, which would have all just completely been obliterated, and siphon all of the dead animal, the copepods, everything, and did a big water change just for that section. But yeah, I'm not sure what I got into that change, but 50 degrees is a lot.
It's hot. Water changes would fix that, by the way. You did an 80% water change. There you go.
It did.
That's how you did.
Yeah. I literally siphoned all the water out of it and then filled up with new water and then turned it on, and it was fine.
There you go. So currently we're at 70% say false to water changes fix everything, 30% say true. I think that is true. It doesn't. If you take that literally, then obviously not. But if you apply that as a general philosophy, then yeah, actually it's true. It does. And even if you look at the so Triton is a system. Triton set it. Or well, I don't know if they pioneered this, but they set up a system whereby you don't need to do water changes. You just you export stuff with a massive refugium. You dose various amounts of trace elements, and you do ICP tests. That's the theory of Triton. Really popular for a while, and kind of dropped off over the last few years. But the one thing, when you do the ICP tests, it will say 2 milliliters of manganese and 1 milliliter of boron or whatever. But if there's loads of stuff out, it will say the solution is do 3 big water changes. So even a system that is based on not doing water changes uses water changes to fix problems. So
great. John just said it doesn't fix a power cut.
Well, it does. Again, literally, it does not. Fix
it might fix the repercussions of that power cut afterwards.
My car broke down the other day. It would not fix the broken car doing a water change.
True.
It's under warranty, fortunately, even though it's a few years old. The part that needed fixing was $4,000.
It's an electric car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Hyundai. I
thought they didn't even have that many parts.
I know. It's supposed to be reliable. Anyway, so I think so. Actually, it's getting back to 50-50 now.
So were we winning or losing on this?
There is. Oh, here we go. I was going to say there's no winning or losing, but
no. What I'm saying is, as in, are we in agreement with the chat, or are we not in agreement with the chat?
You've lost basically. You lost that one, so you need to work hard on the next one.
Okay, fine.
Are we in agreement with the chat? Well, I'm going to end. So the poll, I think, after. So I posted it. And I think people answered it literally, and now we've discussed it a bit and kind of changed, moved the goalposts really.
Okay.
Then it's come back to 50-50, and it's 53-47. So I'm going to end the poll there. But more or less 50-50. But I think actually water changes probably more or less do fix everything. And the only downside is they're a bit of a pain in the ass and they cost a lot of money.
Basically, if you have an unknown issue, then the water change is probably a good place to start.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, really good place to start. They're also good for new tanks, because if you've got an ammonia spike, you want to do an enormous water change. I did that on my first wave 48. I had a small amount of ammonia, so I did like a 80-90% water change, and obviously put in a load of filter media as well, and it fixed it instantly. And there's something weird about water changes, because normally if you so let's say, for example, the phosphate level of your newly freshly mixed salt water is 0.05, and your phosphate in your tank is 0.5. That's a massive difference. Normally, if you strip out 90% of the phosphate or 50% of the phosphate in your water overnight, causes all sorts of problems. But with the water change, for whatever reason, it's fine. It doesn't really do that. So
I have long thought that is more of an issue with the products that are being used to remove the phosphate. I really think because think about it this way: you go to a fish shop and you take the car out and then you put it. No one goes, "Oh, what levels of phosphate have you got in your shop tanks?" Yeah. So when you take the car out and you put it into your system, it's probably wildly different depending on the quality of your fish shop. It probably is different. So I think it's more of the products which are being used have a side effect that can cause a negative reaction in the coral, rather than it's actually the phosphate that's doing it.
I'll add Roaphos to the list. That's fine.
I don't use Roaphos, so
Nios Fuzzy X.
That is what I use, but
I like stuff, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, you're probably right, and maybe it's stripping out, because it does strip out other stuff as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't use GFO because it removes certain trace elements and that sort of stuff. Anyway, we're not going to get to the bottom of that now, but we'll ask our scientist friend in a couple of weeks' time. She won't know. We'll throw all these random questions that she's got no chance of knowing. She's like, I don't know. All right, number 2. And again, I think I'm going to start this. Don't take all of this as literal.
Okay, I won't. I will try my best.
Yeah, everything is like a general philosophy. Number 2, you need a protein skimmer.
You don't need a protein skimmer. The water box is currently run without a protein skimmer and has been run pretty much since the day I got it without a protein skimmer.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Did it break or something? That's suspicious.
No, I took one of the protein skimmers in the farm stopped working. Or it wasn't. I needed to test it, so I needed a brand new protein skimmer. So I took the one out of there and put it into the farm, and then just never replaced it. And it's fine. So,
so how many corals you got in that tank? 3.
Not many. So no, look. I don't look. There's lots of people that will tell you that protein skimmers aren't essential. On smaller tanks, they're not essential. I think if you have a really, really heavy bioload, then of course, yes, it will help. It's the same as a filter. So, filter roller is not essential, but it can help.
A skimmer isn't. Again, if you take that literally, you must have a protein skimmer. Well, no. But I think, and you're right, the smaller tanks, like the first TMC tanks, the first wave 48 and 78, they both come with a skimmer.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. I feel like that's included because it's the sort of thing that people look for. But you're probably better off just doing big water changes once a week. Do 20% water changes on a small tank like that. The fluval tank as well. Most people don't run a skimmer, so you definitely don't need one on a smaller tank. But for the most part, I think if you were running a reef tank, you would have a skimmer like 9 times out of 10. In fact, I would never run a reef tank without a skimmer. Well, actually, no, that's not true at all. I've done it. Most of the time I do. I'm talking myself out of this as I go.
Yeah, look, I've had a tank running for 2 years without a skimmer before adding one, just because, and current, just because, we read it because it says just because. And
current, just because. And
I see, yeah, okay, yeah.
They do, yeah, but no photos. Photos, or it didn't happen, basically. So.
Like I know, but they're not essential. And if that's we obviously disagree on this one.
I know I'm coming around to the idea because I have run tanks without protein skimmers. To be fair, and if you have decent filtration, you don't need it. You need filtration, but that can be a refugium, filter roller, water changes, whatever, basically.
There are all different ways to run our tanks, and I think a protein skimmer is one of those ways, but it's not essential for all of them. But it can definitely help if you have a heavily stocked system.
With that being said, the main reason I don't run a protein skimmer when I haven't run a protein skimmer in the past is either space in the sump or noise. So if I don't care about either of those, I'm having a protein skimmer. And when I say noise, skimmers are generally pretty quiet. But if, like in this room, the tank is, I can touch it, it's right, but it looks further away, but it's right behind me. So if I'm sat here working, and this is my home office, if I'm sat here working and there's a skimmer going, it's really annoying. So I wouldn't have it because of that.
I don't think skimmers are that quiet. I've yet to find, they advertise as silent. I've yet to find one that's actually like quiet. And I think return pumps are pretty much the same as well, where they usually have some level of noise. But
part of the reason that you have that experience is because you use NIOS skimmers. Sorry, I put them on the list, and you use Ecotech return pumps. And they are both excellent pieces of equipment. One of the most popular for skimmers and return pumps in the hobby, but they're not quite.
The NIOS, all the skimmers I've ever had have a suction noise to them. So it's not the actual skimmer buzzing; it's the inlet. It's drawing the air in. Is what I find the noise comes from. I was going to say something, but it's gone. Next, gone.
So Deltec skimmers are very quiet. Go on.
The one thing that everyone says when they see the tank in the house is they go, "This tank is so quiet," and it's because it's got no protein skimmer on it. Yeah,
that's true. The skimmers, generally skimmers over time do start to make more noise. They buzz, and no one cleans a skimmer, do they? let's be real, not properly.
Definitely not me.
Okay, well we're gonna end the poll. 70% say no, 30% say yes. Although I bet if you ask the question, "Do you have a skimmer?" it would be the other way around.
Yeah, true. Probably true.
And I think I agree with that. I think that's the right outcome. But you get oxygen and pH benefits that you don't get from other forms of filtration, like filter rollers. I'm surprised you don't have one on I would always have one on a fish only tank because nutrients basically. But if it's fine, it's fine.
It's just not that bad. It just genuinely isn't. Like the nitrates are always like 10 or around 10.
It pisses me off that my nitrates are so high, to be honest, because I've got a filter roller and a skimmer and a ton of coral. So why are my nitrates so high? And I bet I feed less.
Look, I will do you a deal. If you come and find this leak, I'll solve your nitrate problem.
Not happening. I'd rather just get a refugium. All right. Number 3, LEDs are better than T5s.
I am going to say that T5s are better, but no one uses them anymore because of. I just like the look of T5s better.
Really?
And I do. I can't remember why I liked them. I've not had them for years. But I do remember liking the look. It's more smooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I knew you had to have 8 bulbs or something. I remember I had an ATI 8 bulb, something like that, over a 5-foot tank, and it worked. And it worked great for years. And I think that the corals actually grew better on them, but you had to replace the bulbs all the time.
Yeah.
And they weren't cheap.
No, indeed. I'm going to show you. So my first ever tank. Oh, I've got a video of it as well. My first ever tank was T5s.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like.
See, I had more. I had the blue bulbs. Maybe it's just not showing.
Blue. These were Coral Plus and Blue Plus mostly.
Okay.
But I was terrible with the camera then. But look how flat that is, though. As it there's no shimmer at all. A tiny patch. That looks.
I know. I don't like shimmer.
You don't like it at all. Okay, fair enough.
No, I don't.
But so I think that. So the question is, LEDs are better than T5s. I don't think they're better. I think they're different. But if you forced me to say which is better, I would probably say T5s.
But would you, if you take it depends how you're looking at it. If you said T5s are better at growing coral, that's one way of looking at it. If you say T5s are better at keeping the energy cost down, I would say that's probably not the best way to look at it. Or the running cost of changing the bulbs, or LEDs are you put them in and then that's it. You just leave them there and you never change them. Whereas I remember the hassle of changing the bulbs was a pain in the ass. So I would say if you're looking at it from the coral health and view wise, I'd say yes, but in basically every other way, I'd say no.
This is funny because I would say from coral health and growth, fine. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But as much as anything, because they're circular tubes, literally fluorescent tubes, and then they have reflectors above them. The spread is insane. You don't get shadowing or shading like you do with LEDs, which are just a single point source basically. Yeah. So from that side of things, definitely. And the spectrum is just you turn it on and that's it. So there's no pissing around with sliders every 5 seconds and all that sort of stuff. You can't mess it up. And that proven technology for years and years and years. But would I have them?
No.
I really would like to, but realistically, I like the way LEDs look. Even I like the way and the physical LED looks above my tank, which doesn't matter. But I still a massive bulky T5 unit.
Oh, yeah. See, mine was in it had a surround bit, so you couldn't even see it.
Oh, a pelmet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I really missed that tank. That was 100% my favorite tank. Whoever built that tank had put real thought into it, because you couldn't see the top of the tank. So there was, that scum layer that you get at the top. You couldn't see that. And the sand has those red and all the critters and all the red and cyano growing in it. You couldn't see that either. There was a thing that went around the bottom. So it was whoever designed that tank designed it so well.
You're outing yourself there. It's oh yeah, all my cyano I couldn't see, and
no, it always no, you know what I mean. When you look at the sand bed, you can see all this crud and stuff in it, can't you? You're no.
In your tanks, yeah, mine are pristine. So
yeah, sure.
But no, I think I think that it was currently 60-40 LEDs. People do think LEDs are better, and if LEDs are better, if I think T5s are better, we both think T5s are better. Well, why don't we run T5s then?
Because of the expense
and the pain in the arse and the lack of shimmer. Although not for you. And it just looks. I just don't like the color. So the ATI Coral Plus was the bulb. The Coral Plus and the Blue Plus, I think it was the main bulbs I had. and it just gave a real Windex color, just funny light blue that just, whereas like obviously LEDs give you fluorescence as well, and the blue on an LED is so much nicer to look at than the blue on a T5. What I think I would like in an ideal world is T5s on for 6 hours a day, whilst I'm not there, so from midday to 6 o'clock or whatever, and then they turn off, and then the rest of the time they're LEDs on, so then you get the corals are happy and I'm happy as well.
I think to some extent there's also a certain level of nostalgia as well for me, because I'm like, do I actually remember what it actually looked like? Because when I had T5s, it was probably soft corals and like much more basic. It was relatively early on. So did I actually like them more or not? Because I remember the day I probably got LEDs. I was probably like, wow, look at these. You can put disco mode on.
Exactly. Turn it up to 100%. Everything looks great.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm answering that question truthfully. I just know that generally speaking, most people go, oh, I wish we could go back to the days of metal halides and T5s.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to end the poll, though. LEDs are better than T5s. 59% say yes, which is closer than you would think, given no one uses T5s anymore, really.
Yeah, true.
Next one, and this is one that I'm very good at. You should quarantine every fish. This is do as I say, not as I do.
No. This is, it depends. There are various levels of quarantining a fish. As far as I'm concerned, I am quarantining a fish. The fact that I keep it in another tank for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, doesn't matter. That is a form of quarantine. If an animal goes to a zoo, they keep it in quarantine. They don't give it a load of chemicals and stuff like that, do they? They just keep it separate to make sure it's okay. Yep. So I would say yes, quarantining every fish to some extent is essential, is my honest, that's my opinion. Do I think that, you're laughing because you don't do anything?
I'm laughing because I was going, what if you've got a guy who does that for you?
Who's the guy that does it for you?
Well, sometimes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean, because I had some of your fish, didn't I? I can't remember.
Every now and then, you'll hold a fish for me.
Yeah, don't tell anyone that. Yeah, that's a secret.
To be fair, it doesn't happen that often. So
that's true. He's a terrible customer. So do I think? I actually do think that everyone should. I think every single person should have a Fleur Evo somewhere in their house that they can set up and shut down. Or you just literally you fill it with water, put it next to your tank, fill it with water from the tank, put the fish in it, and then wait 2 weeks and then put it in there. It's not going to solve everything, but it will solve the ones that kill things overnight.
Wipe your tank out. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't do that, but you're probably, it's hard to, I don't think I can argue against it. But
and you have loads of tanks. So as in you have a small tank now, which means it's really easy for you to do. Are you going to start doing it?
I sold that tank. So.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I did think it's there now, and so it's not taking up any space. That it wasn't before, so I could just do that, but I just decided not to, basically. But yeah, but it's
because I had the Moorish Idol, which was massive, in that little tank for 2 weeks, and it was fine. So if you can quarantine a Moorish Idol, which is quite a big tank in a Fleur Evo, you can do any fish.
Yeah, even if it's not proper medicated quarantine, just isolating for a couple of weeks is a good way to go. So I'm but people are voting, so it's 57% say no that you should quarantine every fish, and I think that's people like me trying to justify going, no, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But I think deep down inside most people know that you should do it, and I think Reef actually sums up nicely. Ideally, yes, but it's not realistic for every hobbyist. A proper quarantine setup takes space, time, and experience. So for many people, the best practical approach is careful sourcing, and I would add to that careful sourcing, feeding properly, setting the tank up so there's not tank mates that will stress each other out, having good space for the fish. So if you've got fish that need caves, you have caves. Maybe UV, those sorts of things. That is the approach I take. It's not best practice, but it's the approach that I think probably most people try to go for.
I agree that most people try to do that. I think that over the years of people doing this, there have been many people that have got that wrong, including us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put a fish in a tank for 2 weeks and it's got velvet, it will be dead. So it's guaranteed you're not going to pass it on. Guaranteed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as much as possible. If you observe a fish, they might have got a fish the day before that had velvet, and just because it's in the same tank, like the fish might be there eating. It's been there for 6 months, but you know what I'm saying. Like there's a significant risk doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Maidenhead do a really like a small tank, which I'm sure it's even smaller maybe than a Fleur Levo. It's got a little white lid on it, comes with a light, and it's like it's not very big at all. I've actually got 2 of them, and I think that they're only like 50 quid or something. They're not expensive. So,
how much is a Fleur Levo? 150 quid. 150.
You don't need that. That the reason they're like a bit more expensive because they've got Reef lighting, I would say. But I'm sure.
Okay. But you can get one on eBay for half that.
Yeah. So, and you've only got to go. I think it's less about the price; it's more about whether people can be bothered. Is the honest answer,
exactly.
And if they have somewhere to store it.
But you don't. If it's fair. Anyway, we're going to move on because I don't want to keep talking about that because it'll make me look bad.
Okay.
Because I know I should do it and I don't. Right. Next one is you shouldn't chase pH. Right.
Agreed. 100% agree. I would say that in 19 years, I've probably checked the pH of all my tanks maybe 5 times, and it's usually either when I first got a JHL and calibrated it, or the first day I got a Reef tank and didn't know what I was doing. So you definitely know.
That's it. Just mic drop.
Like if it was important, everything would be dead by now. So does it have some level of effect with regards to like, can you increase growth with it? Yes, but just don't worry about it.
I think that needs clarifying because is it important? The answer is yes. That's not even a debate. But is your pH likely to be at a reasonable level anyway if you don't do anything about it? I think that's what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. As I said, I've not checked it really for like at all. So if I don't have to do it, then you probably don't have to do it either.
So chasing pH, what the route people usually go down is they start looking at CO2 scrubbers, which I think are a pain in the arse because you've got to change them quite often. If you do a recirculating one, they're not so bad, but you've got to change them quite often. And you'll do that for a couple of weeks and then you get bored of it, especially when the media, if you buy media from a reefing company, it's expensive. I think it's called soda lime that you can buy from bulk chemical companies. It's cheap, but that's expensive. The other thing people always say is run an airline from your skimmer to outside.
Yeah,
that is probably too much hassle for most people because you'd have to drill a hole in your wall. And then also you've got like a 5-meter airline, so that's going to introduce less air than if it was just a 2-foot airline or whatever the normal standard one is. But the thing that I actually agree, I think you shouldn't chase pH. I think that is correct, but I don't think it hurts to run Kalkwasser, and I do think that Kalkwasser makes a difference. Well, it does.
It's been proven that an elevated pH level, slightly elevated, not too much, increases the growth of coral, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So that's like a fact. Like BRS they did. Well, you don't really know what else was going on, but that's as factual.
It is a fact that the press pH is bad for tanks, and a pH of 8.3 is good. And in my personal experience, corals grow quicker, look better.
It was a noticeable difference. I'm sure it was like 50% difference when they were testing on all different tanks. There was like a 50% increase on growth rate. So it does make a difference, but just don't worry about growing your corals 50% faster. That just means that it's 50% quicker. You need a new tank.
Yeah. Upgrade. But if you run Kalkwasser, so I don't test my pH, but I do run Kalkwasser because I want, well, partly because I want the boost of pH, probably mostly because I want the boost of pH. So I think it's a good thing to use Kalkwasser, but I don't think you should chase it, and you can get obsessed with it. So let's see what people say in the chat. Oh, it was close. You shouldn't chase pH. That's a bad way of phrasing it, by the way. I should have said you should have changed that, because now it's like a double negative. You shouldn't change pH, chase pH. Yes. So I think most people agree that you shouldn't. It's 55%, by the way. I'm going to end it there.
These have been much closer than I thought they would be.
Well, I think most of them are. There's plus and minuses to all of these, I think.
Yeah. I thought that one would be like vastly that you shouldn't chase pH. I thought it would be like 90-10.
It's way more pH is way more sexy lately than it ever was in the past.
Yeah.
So there was at the end of my Counterquasser series, and I've got another one coming soon. But at the end of my Counterquasser series a couple of years ago, I made a video. I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically like, you don't understand what Counterquasser is for.
Yeah.
Because people get obsessed with it and you start using it wrong, and it's like I don't know. Anyway, next one. You must dip every coral.
Yes.
Do you dip every coral that goes into your tank?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No way.
What corals do you think I don't dip? Oh,
I'm not talking about into the farm. I mean, if you take corals from your farm to your tank, do you dip them?
Yes. No, I actually do.
No, you don't.
I do. I promise you. Oh, actually, the only coral I didn't dip was the Gorgonian, because it's too big.
Right. Okay.
Because that was like that. But that's actually true.
Okay.
I'm trying to think why you think I wouldn't.
Because laziness, basically.
Oh no! Look, I know as well as anyone else that when you like that, you can. Every time I go to the wholesaler, there's a risk. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it's the risk of introducing something. So
the thing that puts me off dipping, there are times when if I've got a sensitive coral, I've lost so many sensitive corals to dipping over the years. It really pisses me off. I bought a Hawkins echinata smooth skin acro, dipped it, and it's stripped. It's like, oh, God's sake. Yeah. So I've had that quite a lot, and that makes me paranoid. And if a coral's had a hard journey, I won't dip it. If it's been shipped in cold weather or hot weather, or it was delayed or whatever, then I don't dip them. But generally I do. But the thing that puts me off doing it is I almost never, when I do dip corals, it's extraordinarily rare for me to see pests in the bucket afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what's the point? And the point is the one time you don't do it, something will slip through. So
I think that having a deterrent is equally not a deterrent, like a something that will solve your problem. So prevention is equally as important. I think if you have rabbit fish, you don't have to worry about weird algae. I think if you have copperbands, you have to worry about Aptasia, and wrasse, flatworms. I think that everyone who has a tank large enough should have all of these in. Why are you laughing?
I just thought of a simile that I'm not going to say because it's childish. And
okay,
I'll get fine. All the time.
But no, I think everyone that has a tank large enough should have a certain specific fish, just because it will solve their problems in the long run. And I think you have all.
What's that got to do with dipping?
Well, because then if you don't dip, then they'll catch it for you. Hopefully, that's how I went.
Rabbit fish will catch aquapore eating flatworms. Is that what you're saying?
No, but red bugs. Red bugs will actually could be eaten by what's those pipefish?
Okay.
Dragon-faced pipefish eat red bugs.
But probably not best to rely on that.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so that's when you dip corals, then do you ever see pests come off them? I just almost never.
No, you
really?
do. Yeah. It depends on where you get the corals from. If you get them from like Indonesia, it's like like direct, not from like the wholesaler. It like the stuff that comes off them is stuff you've never even seen before. Like I'm like, and I've been doing this a long time. You're like, what's that weird thing that I've like just worm or spider? Not spider. I've never actually. One of the things I've never seen is those zoa spiders. I think they are.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never seen those, but yeah, you do see all sorts of weird and wonderful things. When you get the corals from Australia, they've almost like pre-dipped them for you because they are like pristine.
Maybe I source corals from good place in that case.
Yeah,
but that
probably
definitely makes me complacent, because I did. There was one time I dipped I can't remember what it was, a torch or a hammer or something, a long time ago, and a massive flatworm came off, big polyclad flatworm.
Yeah.
But that was that. I don't remember most. I don't remember much else apart from that. Obviously, it doesn't get rid of eggs, because the egg sac protects it or whatever. So that's always so technically you should quarantine corals all the time. Quarantine anything wet. A lot of people say, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's not. It's not the same as quarantine of fish.
No, I think if you've got an expensive acro tank, it's probably a really good idea to quarantine corals. But
Aquariums Down Under said wild Zorox. That is true. All sorts of stuff comes off those.
Oh, really? What's the weirdest stuff you've ever seen come off a coral?
It's usually like weird crustaceans. It might not even be that weird, like little tiny shrimps and like lobster things and things like that. I don't really pay attention to some of like the more obscure things that you like. I recognize the lobsters and stuff. I'm trying to think. Look, every shop has had basically everything come in over the years for everything. So, it's just about removing old plugs, cutting the bases, cutting as much of the rock down as possible. Dipping does help with it doesn't help with everything, but it helps with some things. So it's just another form of prevention, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
So this is actually closer than I thought it would be. 63% say yes, 37% say no. But it's just got even. It's even moved. So I think that the answer to that, you must dip everything, is yes. Just the only reason not to, well, there isn't really a good reason not to.
Yeah.
Apart from if you've got something sensitive that you're worried about that's cost a lot of money, particularly if you've got it from a reputable source. But even then, most people can't guarantee that everything will be fine. But anyway, there we go. Next one, and this was one that this is the headline topic from the thumbnail, and this is one that Ryan, I think, will be passionate about. LPS are easier than SPS. Is that a myth?
That is definitely a myth. I think that some SPS is definitely easier than LPS corals.
That's
I think it depends.
I feel like I've phrased that question wrong, but
I think it depends on what you're comparing. Is if you're comparing the easiest LPS and the easiest SPS coral, I would say probably the easiest LPS is probably easier than the easiest SPS. But if you're picking the hardest LPS coral, comparing it to the easiest SPS coral, then no, it's SPS is definitely easier than some SPS are easier than some LPS. Is what I'm trying to say.
So that's true. I think as a general rule, LPS are easier than SPS, and particularly with if you're a beginner, if it's your first coral, no matter what, you should steer clear of SPS, even if it's something simple and hardy like a Monty from Ryan that's been in captivity for 4,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still going to absorb stuff out of the tank way more quickly, out of the water column way more quickly than an LPS coral will. And if you don't know about calcium and magnesium and dosing, that sort of stuff, it will bite you. So I think that generally SPS are harder, but you've had you always say, I think, that your Montes and all that sort of stuff and bird's nest are as hardy, would you say, in your farm as LPS, or more so maybe?
Oh no, I definitely. Like 100%. There's things like they're just normal red Montes are tough. The things like Stylophora, like the Milka Stylophora, the purple one, that's like bulletproof.
Yep.
So if I woke up and there was a frag of Milka Stylophora that was dead, I'd be like,
oh my God,
what has gone wrong here?
Yeah.
If I woke up and saw that a Duncan had died, I would be less surprised than if the Milker had died, I think.
Really? Okay.
If I'd fragged both of them, then sometimes LPS can be a bit more funny with regards to being fragged than SPS. SPS, you just go in there, just break it into loads of pieces. But I think you get like 1,000 pieces if you stamp on it.
Yeah.
But don't do that, people. Just joking.
Is that how you frag coral?
Don't buy from sometimes just kick them against the wall. So, but no, but they like you often will accidentally frag SPS corals, and what I will say is if you look at the farm, the corals which are growing out of control are the ones that are SPS corals. If you look at all, I have the corals I have issues with are zoas, where they grow everywhere. Like sometimes I'll move a zoa from one tank to another, and all of a sudden you've got a load of zoas growing. It's growing on the racks and everything because you've forgotten about it. But I don't have any LPS corals which are causing a problem with their growth. But I do have a ton of SPS corals and a ton of zoas. So isn't that's interesting if you think about it?
I think you probably need to split. If you're talking about SPS corals, you probably need to split acros out into their own category. Because acros do not. If you acros are way harder. Not even a question. I wouldn't even have the argument. They are way harder than LPS. But if it's LPS and Bird's Nest and Monty and that sort of thing, I would actually still say that sort of stuff is harder than LPS. But it's pretty close, and I would accept an argument at that point, which is basically what you've been talking about. So,
yeah,
if you've got a little bit of experience under your belt and you understand basic water chemistry, nutrients, and calcium, alkaline, that sort of stuff, you're probably going to be all right with a Milka Stylo, for example. And it's a beautiful coral as well.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting though, I feel differently about. So if you've got someone who's got a tank and you go, oh, just snap a bit off, try this. I would be more prone to doing that with an SPS coral than I would be with an LPS coral.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels different. I don't know why. It just it feels different.
Well, there's more flesh to get an infection with an LPS coral, isn't there?
Yeah. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. But there we go. So, and I think I'll stop the chat there. LPS are easier than SPS. No, say 70%. LPS are easier than SPS. No. So, okay. I think that's what we're saying. But I'm not, well, kind of.
LPS are easier than SPS. No. Yeah, that is what we're saying.
But we're not really saying it.
We're saying mostly.
Actually, mostly LPS is easier. But sometimes. I think what we're really saying is, excluding acros because they're impossible and don't bother trying.
Don't worry too much about SPS.
Exactly.
What we're saying, I think.
Excluding acros, but SPS aren't as bad. I think that's really the thing. SPS corals get all bundled together to include acros, and the reality is that acros are an absolute pain in the ass. Normal SPS corals, non-acro SPS corals, aren't always as bad. But actually, I still think I would say they're harder than LPS for the most part. But it's not as simple as that. Anyway, we're going to move on.
He's arguing with himself at the moment.
No, it's ridiculous. And the next one is anemones only belong in mature reef tanks. True or false?
That is definitely false because they only belong in the bin.
Yeah.
I hate anemones.
Why do you hate anemones?
Oh, they just they're one of the things that caused me loads of trouble in the farm because they keep escaping their little anemone basket that they're in. I don't sell a ton of them, so it's like they're not worth cultivating, and they just grow and they'll get onto the rack and then they'll just start mowing down all the corals. So I should just get rid of the whole basket because I don't sell enough of them to make it worthwhile. Sometimes I just think it's just about I'm a collector as well. I'm like, I can't really get rid of part of my collection.
Whilst I'm enjoying the therapy session, the question is anemones only belong in mature tanks. Because this comes from I think this is a myth. This has been around for years, and I bet I've repeated it over the years as well, especially in the early days. That when you look up bubble tip anemones, everyone will say, "Well, don't keep one in a tank that's less than 6 months old." No, they don't. They don't like that at all. But actually, I think the reality is anemones are actually not all of them. Bubble tip anemones are actually quite hardy, and the problem you're not likely to kill them unless you do something wrong.
Yeah, I don't think they need a mature tank is the honest answer.
the problem you're going to have with them is the problem that you have with them, as they split and multiply. Sometimes they don't, but a lot of the time they do. Split and multiply, and you're up with 1,000 of them, and then they'll pop off and end up in places you don't want them, and they'll sting corals. If you're thinking, should I buy an anemone, you need to be asking yourself, are you okay with those things? You don't need to be asking yourself, is my tank mature enough? Probably.
100%.
You agree with that? Yeah.
Yep. And if you're thinking about buying an anemone, come to mine and take them off my hands. All of them.
Yeah. But they're cool. So 75% say no, anemones don't belong in mature tanks, so agree with us. And 25% say they do. Ryan, you were just talking about how many.
I know what you're about to do.
How many anemones you got on your farm? Talk about that, Bite.
I have a lot of anemones in my farm. I only have the pink bubble tips. I'm not sure where he's run off to. Oh, I thought he was going to the bathroom.
No, the door is banging because it's the windows are open. So the door next to my room is going boom, boom, boom.
I was like, if you're going to the bathroom, that is not enough time. I'm not going to fill enough time with that. How many anemones have you got? Question.
I've got 7. Are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So I've ended that poll, and the next one is and you'll love this as well. So this is a proper myth as well. Next one is you should never mix tangs.
That's definitely a myth.
Yeah.
That's
we've talked about that quite a lot. I think this is like this gets on your tits basically.
No, I just think someone needs to rewrite the aquarium book. Although no one reads books anymore, so what's the point? But like the old aquarium books we used to read, where these were like gospel, you learn from them. Someone needs to get something like that. Look, I know I've got off a tangent, but I actually think this is worthwhile. Having a source like that was really useful for me. I don't even know what he's doing now.
I'm still here.
Okay. Having a source that whether I actually think that there's so much information out there now that learning the hobby is to some extent harder than it used to be. Because you used to just get a book which had been verified and you went, yeah, I'm going to follow this, and it was fine. And I know it's been updated. It needs to be updated since then. Whereas now there's just like chaos, just information everywhere.
Yeah, and lots of people can say. So I did a podcast the other day. I was a guest on a podcast, and this exact same topic came up. I think
no one will write a book anymore. Like there's no point in doing it. So
I think it's easier because there is much more information out there, and it's easier to find it. But you're absolutely right. The flip side of that is that any idiot can express an opinion on the internet now, and it might.
I know at least 2 of them that do.
Exactly, and it might be that people like this is one of your favorite expressions. I bet if you did like a word bubble, one of the words that comes up, the biggest words that comes up the most is "well-meaning idiot" in your videos, and often it's well-meaning idiots. Yeah. You say that all the time.
No, I recognize the phrase, but I feel like it's like one word wrong. But it's well-meaning idiot.
People who mean well, but they're just like a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, right? And so some people they'll I think I know this, but actually they don't, and so they just spat out any old nonsense. But if you're careful with your
who knew I was so offensive?
But it's you are offensive though. That's the thing, right? You're a horrible person, really. If you think about it.
You bring me here to actually make you look better.
Yes.
There you
go. Anyway, I think we've gone off topic. You should never mix tangs. No. Yes, I think that's right. I've phrased these really badly. You should never mix tangs. Most people don't agree with that. So I think 88% of people, I'm going to end the poll. People agree that mixing tangs is fine. Yes. But why is it not fine? Because if you just yeet in a load of tangs at random, is that going to be all
right? Look, even yeeting them in at random generally is fine, is the honest answer. There are better ways of doing it. But generally speaking, if you just add a tang to a load of other tangs, you're more likely to have success than not have success. Whereas if you just throw an angelfish in, for example, a dwarf angel thing, you're more likely to not have success than have success.
Okay.
So, but I'm not suggesting people do that. You should always have an exclamation box just to clarify. It just makes things easier.
the last one is filter socks are outdated. Now, filter socks have been around for a long time.
They are outdated by miles. And I'm not even talking about a filter roller. I just like filter socks are just awful.
Yeah.
So
why are they awful?
Because you have to clean them constantly and they only last like 1.5 days or something. And there are just way better alternatives. Either, obviously, the roller mats is the more expensive version, or just take out the filter things and put filter floss in.
Yeah.
And that's equally, like, it might not be as good as a filter as a filter sock, but the reality, if you're using filter socks, you're not that worried anyway.
I think it probably is better because so BRS did an experiment, and I think it was if you change the filter socks every 2 days, then it's beneficial. If you change it less frequently than that, then it's not beneficial because it just sits there and stews and rots or whatever. So if you've got filter floss, that is better because you're far more likely to be taking it out and throwing it away twice a week, for example.
No. I don't think so. I think that people will do it once a week when they do their usual weekly maintenance.
Yeah,
so I think it's probably, they're probably equal.
Is more often than most people do filter socks, because what happens with filter socks is you start by getting the really fine mesh ones, like the cottony kind of thick ones, and then what you find is that they get absolutely filthy. They clog up really easily, and when you put them in the washing machine to clean them, they don't really properly clean. So you're like, well, that's too much hassle. So you buy the more meshy ones. And then they do the opposite because they don't really do anything. So you just leave them in your tank. You leave them in your tank forever.
Yeah.
So, and I think so. It's actually only 80% think it is outdated, but they are 100% outdated. They don't serve. I wouldn't bother. I would rather not have filter socks at all than have filter socks. And the answer is, as long as you can afford it, or even buy a secondhand Bubble Mega or something, buy a filter roller. They're just way better.
Did you know that the farm has 12 filter socks on it?
Actual filter socks, not filter floss.
It has actual filter socks, as in like so. Originally, it was designed, and it has, and they are the massive filter socks, not the smaller ones. I don't know, maybe they're like 8 or 10-inch ones, and they lasted about one. They filled up with crap and stuff, and then I was like, nope, I'm done. And all I did is I put egg crate on top of all of the holes, and then put filter media on top, and that works the same. So I can't believe it's funny because Jake Adams commented on that video saying the guy has made the farm as easy to maintain as possible while also putting in 12 filter socks, and he was right. Yeah, he was right. So
I hate it when people talk about you as if you're not there. They're in the comments.
To be fair, I can't really remember what he. I don't think he. I can't remember what he wrote exactly.
But the point he was getting at is that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he was right.
And it was, and it lasted about a week.
Yeah.
So.
But that when you said that 6 years ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of still. I'm probably
there
doing
was no,
but that was towards the start of filter rollers becoming more. Now they're all over the place, whereas then.
They weren't. They weren't readily available at that point. I'm not even sure they were around at all.
They would have been. The Thieling roller mat went back to years ago.
I'm talking about the Red Sea one. I mean.
Oh, I see. Right, but that was the first ever one.
Yeah.
When was that? When did that come out? Release date? 2015 is when they came out, but they weren't very popular. No. Anyway, I feel like it doesn't matter. Don't need to go into the history of filter rollers.
Okay.
I'm going to end the poll. 80% say that filter socks are outdated. So 20% think that filter socks are not outdated. You are wrong. Simple as that. I'll have the argument on most of these other ones. That is a fact.
Yeah.
I just don't see what's the point then. What do you get from filter socks?
That's like saying a horse and cart is not outdated compared to a car.
Yeah. There you go. Brilliant. Well, there we go. I don't know what we've achieved from that. I don't have a final tally. I feel like I should have a final tally, but I think that you probably lost that round. So I won. Hey.
There you go. I'm willing to accept these pretend wins for you just to make you feel better.
Thank you. All right. In which case, we now move on to the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week. You've got a special one for us, Ryan.
I do have an interesting fish of the week. And as I said at the beginning, so I have been looking for some really interesting fish to put into the game that I'm making. And the reason I want interesting fish is because I think it's about getting these fish out there so that other people will know that they exist. Because I didn't know this existed, and I don't think you knew it either. And I've gone for a yellow-lined Anthias.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say that's the best picture of them. Is there? I don't know if you scroll down. If there's
here we go. He's never happy. Is that better? That's a brilliant picture.
No, I know, but it doesn't look like the other pictures that I was looking at.
Okay.
So these are a very rare fish in the industry. Maybe that was the fish I was looking at. Because they're actually like really chunky for Anthias. They're not like, when you see Anthias, they see the like small fish. These are quite large. They're like palm size, I think. They are very, very rarely collected. They're from Japan. And I think they collected one in like 2009 and then another one in 2021. So they really are unusual. So the chances are you haven't seen this fish before, and that's what this is about. This is about. I can't give you any information because there isn't enough information. There is not that much about them. I just wanted to show you a cool-looking fish. Have I achieved that?
Yes. It's completely useless because you can't get it.
It's not true. Once every 12 years, one person can get it.
All right.
They might be more readily available now than before, but I just thought, that was a cool fish to show people. And I'm going to have even less information on some of the angelfish. And one of the angelfish you really won't care about, but I think it's cool. So
I want to know more about that already, but we'll wait. What is the Prestige Reef Coral of the Week?
I've gone for a Candy Crush Jawbreaker, which is basically it's a discosoma, similar to a Jawbreaker or an Electus mushroom, but it's just slightly different coloration.
So we couldn't quite get the right photo. Couldn't quite find the right one, but it's this kind of color with this kind of green. But most of them, the ones you're talking about really have more green, basically.
I think, look, they come in. It's the same with all Jawbreakers. They come in a whole range of different patterns on them. Generally, the more of the different color, so in this case, the green, the more of that green, the more expensive it gets. So I think that one's like £500, isn't it?
Yeah, on the left.
But of those two pictures, I actually think the more accurate version of the coral is the one on the right for me. So it might be the left for you. That's the more accurate version, I think, of the coral.
Queen City Corals wins. Well done.
Yeah. So, and I said they're similar. Some people will get them and they will like invade the tank, and those people are very lucky because they're worth a lot of money.
£500 a pop.
Yeah, and then some people get them and they'll put it in and it'll melt on day one. So
no, one of them.
Yeah, I've had more Jawbreakers melt than any other mushroom. And sometimes you can keep them for ages, and all of a sudden it'll just randomly just melt or float off and end up in the wave maker.
That's very annoying. Anemones, you see, effectively, aren't they? So
they are anemones, yeah.
Very good. All right. Anything else you can tell us about that coral that you can't get hold of?
The coral I can't get hold of. What, the Candy Crush mushrooms?
Yeah,
they come up. They do come up in the UK occasionally.
Oh, really?
I haven't got any, but they do. They definitely do come up in the UK sometimes. It's the same as with all of them. They seem to have intermission. I remember who's the French cut Amblood. I got a load. This was obviously before Brexit. They at one point had just hundreds of Electus mushrooms. There were just loads and loads of that. That is actually what they had, quite a high price. And then when they released all these mushrooms, the price went meow and quickly plummeted. Yeah, but that's for the Electus. That's not for the Jawbreakers. They're still relatively unusual to come across.
There we go.
That's it.
Well, in which case, that concludes the Fish in the Coral of the Week, which brings us on to the news. Now, you would think, Ryan, given the last one we did these was about 3 weeks ago.
There'd been more news, but there's not going to be, is there?
There's not. There's one piece of news, and I held on to this from last week because we had Viking. Yeah, and it's lighting news, Ryan. So
I'll just say goodbye to everyone now.
But the good news is it's lighting that you'll like because it's the lights you've got. It's from GHL.
Okay. Why? So what's the news?
The news is there is a new GHL light. It's called the Mitras LX8. It looks like this. Let me get one. The one thing, so this is from the Mitras website, the GHL website, and they've used AI slop as their photo, which is anyway. The reason I think this photo is good is because it shows the size of it. I couldn't get the dimensions. I couldn't find them anywhere, but it looks like quite a big light.
Yeah.
Some statistics for you, some information. It is 250 watts. For comparison, a Radeon XR30 is 205 watts, so quite a lot more. DHL say that one of those will cover a 4-foot LPS tank or a 3-foot SPS tank. I can't find the dimensions, which is annoying, but they do look quite big. You get them in black or white. You can pre-order them now from the GHL website. The shipping starts from the 1st of October, and the price, I can only find the price in euros. It's 949 euros, and if you translate that into just currency conversion, that works out at 807 pounds, which would be less than an XR30, which is 875, although we usually get shafted on that, so it won't be, it'll be more than that. I reckon it'll be closer to the Radeon price. And in dollars, it's $1,084 at today's exchange rates. But I would expect it to be, actually, weirdly, I feel like prices are a little bit lower. So I would guess $1,000 US and probably 850 to 900 pounds sterling.
There you go, Alex. Who just told you the price of another company's product that they've not released yet.
Yeah, based on absolutely nothing. Oh, and actually, I've just seen it's got on the website. I don't know why that. Oh, this must be a pre-order thing. So the price is actually 1,200 euros, and that's crossed out 950 euros. Yeah. So that's an introductory price, right? Oh, that makes more sense because that was a bargain at that price. I mean, wattage isn't everything, but what for what? That looked like a bargain. So that's an expensive light. So that's going to be 1,100.
So it's gone from being a cheap light to 30 seconds later to be an expensive light.
Well, it's cheap if you buy it now, if you pre-order it.
True. True.
But how do you find the app on the GHL lights, Ryan?
I find them to be complicated. But I find almost everything complicated. In terms of with apps and stuff, and that's genuinely true. Rachel got me one of those Whoop things for my, you wear them on your wrist. They like measure your heart rate and sleep pattern. Oh, okay. It lasted about half an hour, and I've decided that it's probably not for me already.
No, but GHL software is a bit clunky. I think that's fair.
I do agree.
The only other thing is that the mount, obviously, the mounting brackets are extra. That's the same for every light. And there was one mounting bracket that was 130 pounds and one that was 170. So you're looking at an extra 150 quid on top of the price of the light. And I will bring you more information when I get it, but don't hold your breath because it looks like it's a few months away from proper release. So we'll see you then. And that's the end of the news. Which is ridiculous. A month by, there's nothing.
You see why people I'll be honest with people. It's quite difficult at the beginning of the live streams, isn't it? Sometimes to talk about what you've been doing, but if the entire industry is not doing anything, it's difficult for us too.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we should just talk about the headline topic more.
Yeah,
but there we go. How many people said they'd been? They bought cars. I can't remember.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd done that poll or not because I didn't know if
I did it right. You'll have to watch the live stream back and see. But anyway, it was good to be back. Thanks for joining me again, Ryan.
Oh, so you actually don't know?
No, no idea.
Okay.
And you're my admin bitch because you're sorting out the scientist lady, aren't you? So.
Yeah, I'll tell her that you have let her down because you're watching football as well as probably everyone else.
So we'll be watching the World Cup final. We'll be watching England beat France next week, so we won't be around, but we will be back after that. So
what happens if England don't get through to the next round?
I'm still watching the final. It's the
World Cup final, I wasn't sure if you cared. I thought some people only care because it's England, but
yes, it's true. But yeah. Anyway, right.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye.